My name is Amanda Madrigal. I live and work in Miami, and I am a fiber artist. I create large-scale mixed media installations and soft sculptures using repurposed materials. I am excited to give you a behind-the-scenes look at the production of my most recent work titled Messengers. Messengers is the latest and most ambitious piece from my ongoing Being series. For this installation, I wanted to create a neutral space, and gray just felt like the right color for me to accomplish that with. So once I have the color set, I start to source my materials. Objects and fabrics of similar colors start to stand out to me, and it's almost like my entire world becomes that color for the duration of the process. And I just keep going with this collection in my studio of gray and silver things that I think might visually work together. My personal philosophy is that being human is in itself a creative act, and this is really the basis for this body of work that I began back in 2016. While creating Messengers, I really wanted to immerse the viewer into the art, so I dove into this work kind of disregarding the idea that the piece had to be viewed from a certain vantage point. I felt like with this work, to really say what I needed to say, I had to create a space for the viewer to be a part of. The first step in creating a work like this for me always starts with color. So I'll go ahead and create a frame. In this case, it was 3 frames actually, one for each of the 2 figures and one for a fabric door that I wanted to make. I like to build my own frames because I can really customize the size and shapes that I want. So after that, I grab the right amount of canvas that I need to cover the frames and some dyes. I'll play around with them until I'm happy with the color and texture of the dye, and I've made this surface with the canvases that everything else will sort of spill off from. Within my practice, dyeing canvases is not only the first step, but really the foundation in which the rest of the piece stems off of. I see it as being similar to and also referencing a painter priming his canvas, but it's my own unique version of that. Thinking about it, my work has always really been about collecting and accumulation at its core. I'm constantly accumulating objects, materials, ideas, and experiences, but even more importantly, it's about letting them go. Being surrounded by all this gray material in my studio actually caused me to think about the gray matter in our brains and what that would look like to me if it was a physical space that I could walk into. Gray matter is what controls things like sensory perception, memory, emotions, and to me, it's also a sort of potential energy or in-between state. Gray naturally embodies this sense of elegance, and so I started to think about how I could make the space feel kind of over the top and glamorous, and I took a lot of inspiration from 18th century interior design. In the completed room, you'll see many familiar materials which have been deconstructed and put back together in somewhat unexpected ways. it's important to me that I completely transform each object or material that I collect until it's almost unrecognizable. Nothing is left simply the way I found it. For example, old pillows have been given new handmade skins, and a worn out duvet cover now exists as this beautiful swan and a flock of sitting messenger birds. Everything I've placed in here is on purpose. For example, a swan to symbolize love, a door as a spiritual portal, and many mushroom-coated mirrors to possibly inspire the search for inner truth. I also wanted the space to feel like it could potentially be underground to encourage a sense of going deeper emotionally and in relationships, and also within yourself. Storytelling is a really important part of my process, mainly because fairy tales, stories, and films from my childhood are hugely influential to my work. I rewatch and reread these things pretty often. It's actually healing for me and also allows me to gain new perspectives on the themes and archetypes found within them. This way, I always sort of have this sense of connection to that time in life where anything is possible. It's really important for me to never lose touch with that, and I strive to reignite that feeling within whoever comes in contact with my art. So I'll leave you with this. Messages are all around us. They are sent to us through the connections we form with one another, as well as through personal experiences of synchronicity. This piece is my physical manifestation of the in-between space that happens in the mind when those special connections are being formed. In this neutral yet lavishly decorated room, I hope to provide a space for people to indulge in curiosity and an openness to receive. All in all, this work is an ode to people coming back together again.